Welcome to God's Handiwork, our daily devotional. Remember that you are God's handiwork, created in Jesus Christ to do God's work, which God prepared in advance for you to do. This is Minister Alice from Dallas, Texas.
Names of God. So I'm going to start off with Jehovah El Roi, the one who sees everything. So I'm going to read to you a story in the Bible. It's about Hagar. Do you remember Abram and Sarah had a maidservant who was helping them in their house in the wilderness, and Sarah got impatient because they couldn't have children. So she asked her husband, Mr. Abram, to go and conceive with Hagar. She did, and when she found out that she could see that Abram is paying attention to her, and then she later on conceived, as we read in the Bible. So Genesis 16 verse 6 through 13, and this is Abram speaking to his wife Sarah. So Mr. and Mrs. Abram are talking about Hagar. But Abram said to Sarai, "Behold, your servant is in your power. Do to her as you please." Then Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she fled from her. So Sarai was mistreating Hagar, and Hagar got fed up. She said, "You know what? I'm done with this place. I'm leaving." So she packed her bag and started heading out to the wilderness, because we're in the wilderness. As she was running around trying to find where she's going to go to, in verse 7, the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of waters in the wilderness, the spring on the way to Shur, S-H-U-R. So she was heading to this specific location, I guess a town near the wilderness. And the angel said to her, "Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from and where are you going?" She said, "I'm fleeing from my mistress Sarai." The angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit to her." The angel of the Lord also said to her, "I will surely multiply your offspring so that they cannot be numbered for more." And the angel of the Lord said to her, "Behold, you are pregnant and shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has listened to your affliction. He shall be a wild donkey of a man, and his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he shall dwell over against all his kinsmen." So she called the name of the Lord, this is Hagar, who spoke to her, "You are a God of seeing." For she said, "Truly here I have seen him who looks after me." Therefore the well was called Belai Roy. It lies between Kadesh and Bered. So with that story in mind, the name that we are speaking about today is Jehovah El Roi, the one who sees everything. So during Hagar's affliction, God was there. Even when she was being mistreated, when she was leaving, God was there. And she reminded God that you're the God that sees everything. You know, God is omnipresent. He's everywhere. And that's just to remind us that no matter what we are going through, whatever is going on in our lives, we may feel affliction, we may feel injustices in our lives, and people who may be in positions that are using them to suppress us are doing that because they can. But God sees everything. God is a God of justice. He's the God that vindicates us. He's the God that validates our innocence. So as we see with Hagar, God saw what she was going through, and he gave her a promise of having this son called Ishmael, who is the firstborn of Abraham before the promised child was Isaac. So this is to remind us that there's no injustice that goes by that God doesn't see. Remember, when the enemy makes a pit for you, a hole, a trap, God makes sure that they fall into that trap or uses that situation for your benefit. So that is one of the powerful names of God, that God is present. And that's a reminder to all of us. God is there with us and for us. No matter what, he is going to help us, because we are his children. And just letting you know that Hagar, in that situation, she wasn't at fault. She was the maidservant. Sarai made an executive decision to her husband over to her. So she was innocent. She was doing what she was told. And obviously, Mr. Abraham took the challenge. So God sees everything, and encouragement is that God is with us. He's present. So I hope everyone gets encouraged with that name of God, Jehovah El Roi.